Hi, I'm Jodie Whittaker, and this is Doctor Who Support. So here we go. Bryn Hodgin has asked, if I was able to ask the Doctor, well, you can, a question, it would be, how do you manage to balance a home/Time Lord lifestyle? I would say it creates chaos and havoc and epic adventure, but that is all the things you want from life. Hope that answers your question, Bryn. Joff has asked, you have a TARDIS and know how to pilot it. Where, when would you go? Okay, I think I would go to Neptune in 50 years just to see if our lessons have been learned. If we have perspective from Neptune and we can look back on this beautiful universe, have we made the right choices for all those other planets? It's Neptune because in our solar system it's the furthest away if we're not counting Pluto. So I think it would give an excellent sense of perspective. That's what I would do. Also, Neptune's dark and stormy. I quite like a bit of atmosphere. Ryan Smith has asked, is the Doctor ever going to oil that squeaky hinge on the TARDIS door? I've got so many important things to be doing every day, like saving the universe. I've got to leave that to somebody else. Heather Roker has asked, odd thought for the day. Does the Doctor ever wash their clothes? You always see them in the same outfit, right? Is there a day where they just stay in the TARDIS in some PJs and wait for their clothes to be washed? No, I just don't think, particularly my Doctor, I don't think I have the patience for that. I think I've developed such an extraordinary outfit that it's self-cleaning. Michael Hardy, what the hell in capital letters has happened to Gallifrey? Do you think I'm going to spoil that now? I am not. Liz at Covered in Bees 67 has asked, has the 13th Doctor used any aliases? Doctor Who, I want to know what she will call herself when she can't say that she's the Doctor. Oh, well, I've got an excellent gadget called a psychic paper. And when I want to be a little bit sneaky and have a completely different alias, I just flash my psychic paper. And 9 times out of 10, it gives a wonderful description of what I think would be an appropriate way for me to sneak into a building if I don't want to reveal that I am a Time Lord with 2 hearts. Oh. Sean Scott Smith. Doctor Who was fantastic last night. Thank you. Has anyone ever sprouted a fan theory that the Doctor and the Master are the same being, like a split personality? I'd believe it. I've never heard that. That might be one of those things that's a very big conversation online that I've missed. I believe wholeheartedly that we are not the same person, but you can disagree. But I would say not. Hi, Marie. Your question is, anyone else want to give the Doctor a hug? No? Just me? Well, you can, because I love a hug. I'm very tactile. This is from Who Fan Site. Where do you think the 13th Doctor got those goggles from? They were in The Woman Who Fell to Earth, and now they're in the new series. Just curious, what do you think? Well, they were found by our extraordinary costume designer, Ray Holman, and they were loved so much by Jamie Childs, the director of The Woman Who Fell to Earth, and they got such a fantastic response that I think we brought them back again. But what I like to think of them as is my nod to Doc Brown, and if you don't know who that is, Back to the Future. Giant Thinkhole of Fun. Hashtag Jodie Whittaker is becoming another great hashtag Doctor Who. But it's always going to bother me that she was able to build a new sonic screwdriver. How did she build the software? She couldn't do that. She could. I know, we are so clever sometimes. I was able to because I was able to steal something from Tim Shaw that helped me along the way. I was also in Sheffield and they have excellent steel. Those were all the things that I needed and a little bit of Who belief in myself that got me that brand new sonic that works perfectly. Amy. Now she has asked, why is the Doctor being so secretive about where she is from? Now, I would say it's a Pandora's box to ask the Doctor where they're from. And I think particularly knowing how curious Ryan, Yaz and Graham are, they wouldn't accept necessarily the 1 or 2 word answer that I would be willing to give without revealing so much of my past, which some of it is a joyous memory, some of it is incredibly sad, some of it is steeped in loss. And I think that conversation is often too big in the moments that they have together. Essie has asked, does the Doctor have a bedroom in the TARDIS? I'd say yeah. I don't think it will be frequented very often because, as I've said before, I'm incredibly hyperactive and I think the brain never sleeps. But I would say they do. In this season, we've discovered that there's a wardrobe hall and karaoke buses. So I think missing out a bedroom would be a huge error. So Santa Major Mario SMM VA has asked, I've always wondered if the Doctor was able to get a cleaner for the TARDIS, what would the bill be for the inside? I mean, if you've seen episode 3 of this season, there's a giant tentacle that we're mopping up. So I'd say pretty hefty. I mean, there's custard cream crumbs on the floor, there's muddy footprints. I don't have lots of time to do cleaning. I'm not a complete scruff, but I'd say it'd probably be quite a hefty bill. Marker Chic. How can the sonic screwdriver work on a rope when it can't even work on something as basic as wood? God, you are rude about my Sonic. My Sonic's brilliant. I'm not even going to comment on it. It's absolutely flawless, in my opinion. Howard Nelson has asked, how many lives does a Gallifreyan cat have? I will never sleep again. Gallifreyan cat. I mean, infinite. Let's give it that to really blow your mind. Have yourself a cookie little Christmas, John Boy Cook, has asked, so genuine question for all Whovians. How long have you been a fan when you realised that the rhythm of the theme tune is a Time Lord double heartbeat? Well, I'd say it was a reveal to me, so I'm not embarrassed to say. Lots of things are revealed to me, that's why I love playing the part, because every day is a learning day. But yeah, I thought that was a beautiful addition to the episode, and it was a reveal to me. If I'm now going to get hounded because I should have known that, I apologise profusely. Bethany, she's asked, I'm thinking of getting this tattoo on my wrist. Yes, my first tattoo. What's everyone's opinion? I don't have any tattoos. I go on about it all the time. I've got an idea for one, and I'm still, at 37, have not got it. I would think very carefully about getting a tattoo, because what if your taste changes? But as designs go, it's absolutely beautiful. So I'm not discouraging the artistic work on your wrist at all, because it's beautiful. But I would say, how do you know you're going to like it in 40 years? I'm always curious about that with people with tattoos. I wish I had that kind of longevity in my taste. I'm impressed if you do. Biggest Digest at BBC. Can we please see 13 meet the face of Bo? Hashtag Doctor Who, hashtag 13th Doctor, hashtag face of Bo. We cannot reveal anything that is going to happen ever, because why be a fan of Doctor Who if you were going to have spoilers? So I'm not answering. So, Type 40 marketing. If nothing can get into the TARDIS, how did the Kablam delivery bot manage it? Well, let's use an analogy like a vampire. There was a signal, and I accepted the signal because I've been waiting for a delivery, so it was a bit like it was invited in. And because of that, the hologram-esque delivery bot arrived and brought me my beautiful, beautiful, beautiful present. The Renaissance of Bad Ideas. So, Мэри Poppins is a Time Lord, right? Oh. So I'm not the first female. That's just pulled the rug, hasn't it? There we go. Lauren has asked. Oh, she hasn't asked, she's put in quotes. I love a laminator. Why is 13 the most relatable? I do love a laminator, actually. Although in this day and age, I don't know how good a laminator is. It's not ideal for recycling, but it does keep things very clean. And if you're putting it on your wall, you don't need to put a nail in, you could just put blue tack, so it's always really handy, because if your tastes change, as I've just discovered that my tastes change quite regularly, because I won't be getting a tattoo soon, you can just peel off the laminator off the floor from blue tack. You don't have blue tack, do you? Do you have blue tack?
We do.
All right, cool. There you go, that's your answer. Ryan Kennedy has asked, how does the TARDIS always land on flat ground? It always lands on flat ground because I'm an excellent pilot. Also because we have a brilliant art department who find a really wonderful location every time they have to build it. And they're just helping us out. It's a lot of people to get in there. If it's wonky, we'd tipple over, especially if we get Brad in there, we're all tipped over. Silent Rambles. How did the Doctor survive the fall from atmosphere to the train? I'd say I'd taken a huge intake of breath I then have really good lung capacity to scream throughout the entire fall, so that my next intake of breath was done so smoothly on the train floor that when I bobbed up into frame, that change of atmosphere had no effect on me. Artistic license. Poppy. Since when can the Doctor drive a car? She can barely drive the TARDIS. She's getting better. I had a few, how shall I say this? In my first 3 episodes, I did attempt to land in Sheffield in the 21st century, and it went a little bit wrong, but thank goodness for those little errors, because we ended up in some phenomenal adventures and witnessing some extraordinary moments in history. So, you know, it was a new interior. I had to learn how to drive it. But now, I'd say I'm pretty flawless. I'm also a really good driver, and it would be very hard for me, Jodie Whittaker, as the actor, to kind of fudge my extraordinary driving into bad driving on set. Well, I'm Jodie Whittaker, and that is it for Doctor Who support. I will see you in the next 900 years.